So, class, welcome back. So, I think I'm taking this lecture after a break of 10 or 15 days. As you all know, that I was suffering from COVID 19. So, there is a slight improvement in my health. So, today I will again start with the material which I taught you in the last class. So then I will, because I told you what are phase shifters, but I didn't told but we haven't solved any problem related to the phase shifters. So what were the steps to analyze the AC circuit? How can you analyze this AC circuit? There were three steps. The first step was that firstly, if there is any circuit, for example, this is a circuit. So if you can see, the source is 25 cos 2t. So here the phase is 0 and frequency is 2 and amplitude is 25. So we have a 2 ohm resistor and a 0.2 farad capacitor here and a 2 Henry inductor here. Here I have a 4 ohm resistor and a dependent voltage source of voltage thrice Vx, where Vx is the voltage drop across this 2 ohm resistor. Okay. So this circuit is in a, as you can see, it is in a time domain form, because this we have phase, we have the cosine and the frequency component here, where capacitor is in farad and inductance is in Henry. So what was the first step? First step was to transform this circuit from time domain to frequency or phasor domain. Okay. So once we have converted this or transformed this circuit to time domain, from time domain to phasor domain, what we do, then we use the circuit techniques to solve the circuit. Circuit techniques means KCL, KVL, nodal analysis, mesh analysis, superposition, Thevenin, Norton's, etc. etc. Okay. So sorry. So the second step was that we will solve this circuit using circuit techniques, and once this circuit is solved, then we have to convert this circuit back from phasor domain to time domain. So let us see how we converted this circuit from time domain to phasor domain. So in this circuit, we are asked to calculate the voltages V1 and V2, that is the voltage at node 1 and node 2. Okay. So if you can see, this is a phasor time domain representation. I am converting this into a phasor domain. So if inductance is L is equal to 2 Henry, so what will be the inductive reactance? XL is nothing but J omega L. So it will be J into omega is nothing but 2 here, as you can see, cos 2t, and omega is L is again 2. So it will be 4J. Capacitance is 0.2 farad. So what will be XC is equal to 1 upon J omega C. So I will take J from numerator to denominator, it will be minus J by omega C. So this will be, XC will be J minus J 2.5. Okay. So now I have the value of XL and XC. Now I will convert this circuit into a frequency domain or phasor domain form, and the circuit will appear like this. So the voltage source is now represented in a phasor form 25 angle 0. Why 0? Because here the phase was 0. The frequency was there, but the phase was 0. Resistance as it is 2 ohm. Now this V1 will be the phasor voltage at node 1 and V2 will be the phasor voltage at node 2. Vx will be the phasor voltage drop across the 2 ohm resistor. Now this capacitance will be replaced by capacitive reactance minus 2.5J, and this inductance will be replaced by inductive reactance, which is 4J. So this is the first step. So in the second step, I will apply KCL at this node and this node. Okay. So the figure will change to this. So at node 1, suppose I am saying I1 is the current that is going towards node 1. I2 is the current that is flowing in this 2 ohm resistor. That is this current I2, it is going away from node 1. And I3 is the current that is moving from node 1 to node 2. That means this I3 is again going away from the node 1. So applying KCL at node 1, I will get I1 equal to I2 plus I3. Okay. So I will get here, yes, this was a current source here. So I will get I1 is equal to 25 angle 0. I3 is nothing but V1 divided by 2. Sorry, I3 is this. So I3 is V1 minus V2 divided by minus 2.5J, and I2 is nothing but V1 by 2. So here V1 by 2. So after solving this equation, I will get equation. After solving this equation, simplifying this equation, I will get this equation. Okay. So now in the second case, what I will do, now I will apply KCL at node 2. So this is I3. Suppose the current coming from this dependent current source is I4 and the current flowing in this inductor, it is I5. So as per KCL, I3 plus I4 will be equal to I5. So here I am writing I3 plus I4 will be equal to I5. I3 is nothing but V1 minus V2 divided by minus 2.5J. I4 is nothing but thrice Vx minus V2 divided by 4, and I5 is nothing but V2 divided by 4J. So, but you know what is Vx? Vx is nothing but the drop across this resistor. Okay. So, if you can see, this resistor is connected between one non-reference node and one reference node. Okay. So, the drop across this resistor, it will be equal to, or drop across this branch, in this branch, it will be equal to the node voltage here. The voltage of the non-reference node to which it is connected. So, Vx will be nothing but V1. So, that's what I am writing here. Vx is nothing but V1. So, substituting here, instead of Vx, I am substituting V1, I will get this equation. So, after solving this equation with the help of your scientific calculators, you will get equation 2. So, if you can see, you have two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, and you have two unknowns. Unknowns are V1, V2 here V1, V2. So, two equation and two unknowns, you can easily calculate V1 and V2. Okay. So, you will get V1 equal to 28.31 angle 60.101, and V2 is equal to 82.56 angle 57.12. So, but these are the value of the node voltages in phasor or frequency domain form. Now, you have to convert the circuit back to this time domain form. So, how will you convert this circuit back to the time domain form? Since you know that V1, this is a phasor V1, is nothing but 28.31 angle 60.01 degrees. So, what will be the sinusoid V1? So, it will be magnitude 28.31 cos of omega t, omega was 2 plus phi. So, what is this angle? 60.01 volts. So, V2 is nothing but 82.56 angle 57.12 degrees. So, if you will convert this phasor into in time domain form, so you will get V2 is equal to 82.56, that is the magnitude, multiplied by cos of omega t plus phi. So, omega is 2 and phi here is 57.12, so volts. So, this is how we solve a circuit in AC. So, what we did, firstly we transformed the circuit into from time domain to phasor domain. Then we use circuit techniques to solve this circuit. And at last we again converted the circuit back from this phasor domain or frequency domain back to time domain. Okay. So similarly, we have another problem here. Suppose we have a voltage source of voltage 75 angle 0, 4 ohm resistor. Here the inductor is 4J. Since it is given in J means, and here it is angle, means it is already in which domain? It is already in frequency domain, frequency or phasor domain. It is already in frequency or phasor domain form. Okay. So the capacitance is 1J. Here I have another voltage source which is connected between two non-reference nodes. The voltage of this voltage source is 600 angle 60, and I have a 2 ohm resistor here. As you can say, since we have a voltage source connected between two non-reference nodes, and we don't know the current that is flowing through this voltage source in advance. So this will create a super node. Here I am showing this will create a super node. So you will apply the same technique that you were using in this DC analysis. Same technique you will apply here. Suppose I am saying this. Let me see the circuit. Okay. Suppose here I am saying this was 75 angle 0. This was 4 ohm. Okay. Suppose I am saying the current that is coming from this current source, it is I1. Okay. So I2 is the current that is flowing in this inductor. I3 is the current that is flowing in this capacitor. And I4 is the current that is flowing in this 2 ohm resistor. So as per KCL, if you will apply KCL at this super node, so what are the currents that are approaching this node? Only one current is approaching I1. And what are the currents that are leaving the node? So it is I2, I3 and I4. So I1 will be equal to I2 plus I3 plus I4. Simple. So if you will see what is I1, what is I1? I1 will be nothing but 75 angle 0 minus V1 divided by 4. I2 will be nothing but V1 divided by 4J. I3 will be V2 divided by J. And I4 will be V2 divided by 2. So here I will get this equation. So after solving this equation, dividing 75 angle 0 by 4, I will get 18.75 angle 0. Dividing 1 by 4, I will get 0.25 V1. Similarly, I will solve these. So V1 divided by 4J, it will be minus 0.25 J V1. V2 divided by minus J, it will be J V2, and it will be V2 divided by 2 will be 0.5 V2. Okay. Now taking the real and imaginary terms on one side. So we have here minus 0.25 J V1. What I will do, I will transfer this minus 0.25 V1 from this side to this side. So I will get 0.25 minus 0.25 J V1. So what about V2? It will be 0.5 real plus 1 J. Okay, V2 0.5 plus J V2 equal to 18.75 angle 0. So this is one equation. Okay, this is equation 1. So now you know that a supernode requires application of both KCL and KVL. So I applied KCL. Now we will apply KVL to this supernode. So this is the circuit. This is the supernode circuit. This circuit forms a supernode. This circuit. So what is the drop across this capacitor? It is V2. What is the drop across this inductor? It is nothing but V1. So here I am drawing it. So this is V2 plus minus, and this is V1 plus minus, and this is 100 angle 60. So I will apply KVL in this loop. Okay, so KVL will be V2 minus V1 plus 100 angle 60 is equal to 0. So V1 will be V2 plus 100 angle 60. Okay, so now I will substitute the value of this V1 from this to this equation. Okay, from this to equation number 1. So what will I have? 0.25 plus 0 minus 0.25 J, and what is V1 now? V1 is V2 plus 100 angle 60 plus 0.5 plus J V2 as it is equal to 18.75 angle 0. So after simplifying this, after multiplying, firstly you have to multiply V2 0.25 minus 0.25 J by V2. And second case, you have to multiply 0.25 minus 0.25 J with 100 angle 60. Okay, so after solving this and simplifying the equation, you will get V2 equal to minus 16.36 plus 4.166 J. Okay, so V2 this is in rectangular form. You can convert this into polar form, and in the polar form, the V2 will be equal to 16.88 angle 165.71. And using this equation, you can calculate V1. V1 is equal to V2 plus 100 angle 60. So V1 will be 96.8 angle 69.668 degree. So both these voltages are in volts. So look here, you can see the circuit was already given to you in the polar form or frequency domain form. So you don't know what is omega here. Okay, you don't know what is omega. So what you have to do, you have to keep these values in this polar form as polar form. You cannot convert this into this time domain form because you don't know the value of omega. Okay, so you can keep these voltages as it is in their polar form. Okay, so this was about this beta how we transform a circuit, how we approach for analyzing a circuit in AC. So first step was to transform the circuit from phasor to frequency, then domain, then use the circuit techniques. Whatever circuit technique will be asked in the question, you will use that circuit technique. Then we will again transform back the circuit back to its time domain form. So I showed you a circuit. I showed you two problems. First problem was a simple one, and the second problem, it was a supernode problem. So we solved both the problems. So I will give you a homework. The homework will be like, so you have a circuit here. Okay, how many sources you have in this circuit? One voltage source, current source, and current source. So this is in a phasor domain. As you can see, this inductor is 5J. So this is XL. So XC is given to you, XC is minus J2. Here you have another capacitor, here the XC is minus J4, and two resistors you have, 8 ohm and 6 ohm resistors. So you have to calculate the V0, that is the voltage across this capacitor. Okay, so you can solve this by using mesh analysis. Okay, but keep in mind, if you look at this problem, you have a current source that is common between two meshes. Here this voltage source, it is only in this mesh, and this current source is only in this mesh. But this current source, it is common between this mesh and this mesh. So this will create a super mesh here. This will create a super mesh. So you will solve this circuit at your home, okay, using this mesh analysis technique, and you will use super mesh here, okay, super mesh technique. So next important thing is the phase shifter. So what is phase shifter? Basically there are circuits in which there is an undesirable phase shift, okay. So what we want to remove that undesirable phase shift. So for that these phase shifter circuits are used. So the simple example of phase shifter circuit is a simple RC circuit or an RL circuit, because you know that because in case of an inductor or capacitor, current and voltage, they are out of phase, okay, they are not in phase. However, in case of resistor, the current is in phase with the voltage. So here I will take a case of simple RC circuit. This is a simple RC circuit. VI is the input voltage and I am taking the output against the resistor, okay. So VI is the input, then we have a capacitor, and here I have a resistor, and I am taking output across this resistor, okay. So this voltage is VO. O means output and I means input. So I is the current that is flowing in the circuit, okay. So you know that this current I, it will lead the input voltage by some angle theta, because in case of a capacitive circuit the current leads. So how much the current will lead, it will depend upon the value of C and R, because you know that theta is nothing but tan inverse XC by R, okay, and XC is nothing but minus J by omega C. So I can say this theta, it is dependent on omega, the frequency, the capacitance C, and resistance R, okay. So depending upon these values, theta, we can vary theta between 0 to 90 degree, okay. Suppose I am saying that in this circuit here, you can see this is the input voltage, this is the output voltage, okay. So the current here I, it will lead the input voltage by some angle, I am saying theta, okay. So but the drop V0, which is the drop across the resistor, this drop will be in phase with this current, because it is a drop across the resistor. Output is taken across the resistor. In case of a resistor, current and voltage, they are both in phase, okay. So if current and voltage here are in phase, and this current is leading the input voltage, so this voltage will also lead the input voltage, okay. What I am trying to say here I have shown it, yeah. I am saying, suppose let me show it here. I am saying this is the circuit now. I am saying, suppose this is my current I, okay. So this is leading my voltage VI by some angle theta, okay. So what is the drop across this resistor? I am taking output across the resistor. So across the resistor, voltage and current, they are in phase. So this drop V0, here I am saying it will be V0. So I will increase this by some length here, VI. So this is V0 and this is VI. So you can see if I is leading VI and I and V0 are in phase, so this V0 will also lead this VI by some angle, by the same angle theta, okay. So leading V0 is leading VI means V0, what V0 is, if you will show it in the form of a sinusoid, means that when VI was equal to 0, we will have some value of V0, because it is leading VI means it is advancing VI by angle theta. So I can say that if this is my VI input voltage, so I am saying that V0 is leading VI by some angle theta, means when VI was equal to 0, this is the point when VI was equal to 0, so V0 should have some value because it is leading. So I am saying this is V0, this is the waveform for V0. So what will be this angle? What will be this angle equal to? This angle will be equal to theta, okay. And you can see when this VI was equal to 0, V0 has some value here. This is VI. When VI was equal to 0, V0 was having some value, okay. V0 was having some value. So means this V0 was leading VI by angle theta. So this is shown here. I am saying this solid line is VI and this dotted line is V0. So you can see V0 appears first in the circuit as compared to Vi. So this V naught is leading Vi by angle theta. Okay, so this is the case when I am saying that I am taking output against the across the resistor. What if I will take the output across the capacitor? Meaning is, what if I will take, suppose I am saying this is the resistor, no, and this is capacitor. So this is C, this is R, this is Vi, this is I, this is V naught. So in this case, Vi will lead V naught. Why Vi will lead V naught? Can you tell me? Simple. It is simple. You can see, since this current is flowing I, same current is flowing through the resistor, this capacitor. Okay. So I am saying if this is I, okay, what will be V naught? V naught will lag I by 90 degree. Okay. So what will be I into R? It will come in this direction. Suppose this will be VR. This will be VR. Okay, and this will be V naught. Okay. So what will be Vi? Vi is nothing but VR plus V naught. So if you will see, this current is leaving us. If you will see, so Vi will come in this direction. So if you will see, Vi is here and V naught is here. So this Vi is leading V naught by angle theta. Are you getting my point? I am saying this is my current, okay, and the voltage, same current is flowing through this capacitor C. So what will be the drop across this capacitor? This drop V naught, it will lag the voltage current I by 90 degree. So this is 90 degree. This voltage is lagging this current. But the drop across this resistor VR, it will be in phase with the current I. So this is my VR. So VR is here, V naught is here. Taking the vector sum of these two, it will give me Vi. So if you can see this figure, Vi is leading V naught by angle theta. Okay, in case of this circuit, when I am measuring output across the capacitor. So in that case, what will be the how the waveform will appear? So I am saying no, this Vi will lag. This is my V naught. So I am saying I will lag, means it will be start from here. Okay, here this angle will be equal to theta. This is V naught, this is V input and this is V output. So as you can see, V output is starting late and V input is starting earlier. By how much angle? By angle theta. Okay, so here I will say that Vi will lead V naught, and here Vi will lead V naught, and here V naught will lead Vi. Okay, so let us solve one problem based on this question. So the problem is like, one, two, three, 3, 4. Is page number, this is 5. Okay, so I told you theta depends upon the value of C and R. Okay, so in case I am choosing, suppose that XC and R, they both are equal, what will be theta equal to? Theta will be equal to 45 degrees. Okay, simply take XC is equal to XR. Suppose XC is 10 and R is 10. So tan inverse 10 by 10, tan inverse 1, nothing but 45 degree. Okay. So suppose we are asked to design a RC circuit to provide a phase shift of 90 degree lagging. Since it is saying 90 degree lagging, okay, RC circuit 90 degree lagging. So output should lag input. Okay. So if an AC voltage of 60 volt RMS is applied, what is the output voltage? So we know that theta is equal to tan inverse XC by R. So for theta to be equal to 45 degree, we say XC should be equal to R. If theta XC is equal to R, theta will be 45 degree. Okay, so I am saying if theta is equal to theta will be 45 degree when XC is equal to R. Okay, so using this technique, okay, Okay, I will continue after 5 minutes. I'm getting a call.